after 2-0 when Akron was on top, you didn't trail again. How were you able to wrestle the control of the game away from the start and keep it that way throughout the bulk of the game?
Well, I mean, I think it was our energy level the whole night. I mean, I just think the guys came focused, and you know, from a defensive standpoint, it's probably the best we'd played in probably a month of just doing the things we need to do and guys contributing, and then it kind of just spread right down the line. I thought everybody that kind of hit the floor made some plays and did what they could do, and because of it, we had a really great team win.
I bring up the assists to made buckets, and I pointed Bean Willis for you. 6 points, 6 assists, 3 steals, 35 minutes. He did turn the ball over 4 times. Evaluate where he's been, and do you think that when he is more point guard-centric first, he's been more effective for you in that role?
Yeah, he's trying to find, you know, again, was thrust kind of into it. It's not really fair to a guy who played 12 minutes. You know, okay, now you're going to play 36.
Right.
And especially against the last 2 teams, Buffalo picked him up full, and they're going to pick him up full again. So for him, it's about decisions. And most of his decisions, so if we can control the game better, he won't have to make as many decisions on the break. Most of his turnovers come in the break, where he just makes a poor decision. So he's learning about it. And again, it's like all these other guys. You have to take – after Western Michigan, I was obviously very disappointed with how he played, but we got to get him ready to play Saturday, and that's what I told him, is that you've got to just move the chains out here, especially the first 5-6 minutes of the game. Just throw the ball to the out receiver. Hit a running back. Because the one thing that you have to understand at the point is as the game goes on, as the game progresses, those simple plays, those become the great plays. And that's kind of what he did. He didn't make any home run plays. He made simple plays for his 6 assists. And when you make simple plays, well, now it's a simple play with the score tied 60-60. It's now a great play. And I think he's learning that, like everybody else has to learn, because how we play here at Ohio is a heck of a lot different than he played at Texas Tech. They didn't rely on their point guard to make any decisions at Texas Tech. That was Billy Gillespie's system. That's kind of how they did it. They play with that. So he's had to learn a lot. And the one thing I thought he did great in this game that he has not been doing, I thought he put tremendous pressure on the ball. I thought the whole game long, Betancourt and the backup point guard that they played, they couldn't get anything into where they wanted it, which is why we held them to 26% shooting, because Bean put so much pressure and pushed them so far out that they had a tough time running offense, and it was frustrating Treadwell that he couldn't get the ball where he wanted to get the ball. Now, Bean's a lot better than Stevie at that.
He is now 7 away from setting the Ohio record for threes in a career. Past that, he is 10 away from passing Landon Hackham from Miami.
I coached him.
And being the all-time leader in Mid-American Conference history in made threes. When you take a look at that record, what does that mean to you as Knicks head coach?
Well, the first thing I'd say is if I didn't encourage him to go to the basket more, he probably would have the record by now. So I'm probably taking some responsibility for him not having it.
Sure.
You know? But again, anytime you do something like that, it's special because, you know, in the short run, it probably doesn't mean much to him because he wants to win so badly. But in the long run, when he looks back at his career, that's something that his family, and everybody's playing with him is going to have a lot of pride in. And he deserves it because it couldn't happen to a nicer kid.
You coached Landon Hackham. What a great name for one, and a Miami real productive player for two. When he got to that mark, I don't know if it's something that you thought about, but looking at that mark, did you think that would have some staying power and last for as long as it has?
No, you know, I look at all those things the same, that you just never know. Landon Hackham was a great shooter, small, undersized two-guard. And I was there because I coached him the year he was a senior, so I was there when he did it.
96, I think he was a senior.
96. Herb Sendek's last year at Miami. But again, another guy that just might have been overlooked coming out of high school and just made the most out of his game and most out of his abilities, and he was a really good player.
When he's on, there aren't a lot of better players in the Mid-American Conference. Your thoughts on your senior from the Columbus area, Grove City, Ohio?
Well, obviously our team wouldn't have a chance to be where it's at without all the things that he does that don't show up on stat sheets. You know, just the leadership, the way he approaches the game, you know, the way he keeps our team together. You know, it's funny because you watch teams and you wonder, like, okay, who's the voice? And when our team huddles up before the games, it's John. You know, he doesn't say a lot of other people, but he's you know, I think they understand how focused he is and what he wants to do, and they have a lot of respect for the role he plays on our team. And Off the court, he's my favorite guy in the team to be with. You could talk to John about a lot of different topics. Like I always get with him and say, you missed your time. Like, you should have went to college in the 60s. Because that's John's type of thing. Like, he investigates a lot of things.
Bill Greenlee, you look at the team mark, you look at individual marks. It's been incredibly impressive to see the season in your own words.
Exciting. We're still wrestling seven underclassmen, 2 seniors, a junior. I think, great things. Our guys are excited about it. They're working hard, doing the right things, and it's all coming down to the next 2 weeks, really.
You've got the Mid-American Conference Championships coming up next weekend, and then the NCAAs as well. From the individual standpoint, the win totals of all of these guys, incredibly impressive. But let's go to the top of the list. Let's talk about Jeremy Johnson. He's over 30, I think 33 wins for you this year. Phil Wellington right there, too. These guys have just done a tremendous job. But talk about Johnson at the heavyweight and how he's been able to be so consistent for you.
Well, I think that's exactly it. He's consistent in everything he does. He's probably the hardest worker in the wrestling room. When we lift, he lifts harder than everybody else. When we run for a heavyweight, he weighs 250 pounds probably, and he's one of the top 5 guys in every run we have. And he's done that since he was a freshman, and he's brought Phil along with him. He showed everybody else the way, how to do it. This is what you have to do, and hopefully it pays off again at the NCAA tournament this year, and he's an All-American again.
The win totals are there. The national rankings are there. And as you continue to build this program with a consistent level, those are all things that lead to being a conference champion, isn't it?
Well, I was just talking today. If you go by probably the old Mid-American Conference tournament, we won it this year. With the new teams, okay. Missouri, Northern Iowa, and Old Dominion, we obviously didn't win it. But, it's a step in the right direction for us. I think, those 3 teams are great competition. That's what, Northern Iowa is ranked 4th or 5th in the country at the current time and went undefeated in duels, and that's where we want to be, and that's what we're working to do.
Talk about the preparation between now and the MAC championships and then moving on to the NCAA championships.
To me, it's all about intensity and individual work. We can take each individual and get them ready for the guys they need to see at the tournament. It's not long, grueling hours like it has been during the year. It's going to be short and intense, and get the most that we can out of each individual in an hour of work.
Do you see the stuff from your guys that says MAC championship from a team level and then some individual champions at the NCAA?
I do. I think individual champions, I think we've got a couple guys that can compete for an individual title, but I think we got quite a few guys that can compete to be an All-American, and that's top 8 in wrestling. And I think as far as the MAC tournament goes, we've got we're going to take 10 guys that are excited, 10 guys that want to do the right things, and 10 guys that are going to work the tail off to place in the tournament. And for us to do well, we need to have all 10 of them place.